So we're going to deal with two types of similar triangles with parallel lines. And the first one, we know our triangles are similar. We have parallel lines. This is angle-angle similarity. We have corresponding angles are congruent here. Corresponding angles are congruent here. That gives us angle-angle similarity. I have congruent triangles, or similar triangles, I should say. That means that I can set up proportions to solve for x. I can utilize the proportions in one of two ways, but you must look at this in a certain way when you're trying to find scale factor and similarity ratios, and we'll get to that in a moment. Now, I can go in between my parallel lines and set up proportions. 4 over x is going to be equal to, go in between here, 12 over 15. Now, be consistent. If I start with 4, and that's my numerator, x is my denominator, I have to go along that same side length as my other numerator. I can't have 4 in one numerator, 15 in the other. That's the proportion I'm going to use to solve for x. When I cross multiply that, I will solve and get x equals 5. Now, finding the similarity ratio and the scale factor, really, really important. It's not 4 and 12. 4 is not the side length of a triangle. 4 is just this part here. So I can't use 4 and 12 to come up with a similarity ratio. It's sometimes helpful to redraw your triangles. You have two of them. You have the big triangle, and then you have this smaller triangle. That's going to help you identify what your similarity ratio is. The smaller triangle, you know you have a side length of 12. That's this side length here. Then you have your parallel side, and then you have your other side length of 15. In the big triangle, though, your side length, this whole thing, isn't 4. It's 12 plus 4. It's 16. And then this big side length isn't x or isn't 15. It's x plus 15. Since x is 5, we now know that's 20. So I know that's 16, and this is 20. So when I'm finding my similarity ratio, I have to compare corresponding sides. 16 and 12 would be one option. I get 16 over 12. That's going to simplify to give me my similarity ratio of 4 to 3. I could have also used the side length of 20 to 15. Using that similarity ratio, it would actually simplify to the exact same thing. So that gives us our similarity ratio. Now, I don't have to calculate scale factor. As we've learned, scale factor and similarity ratios are reciprocals. So if this is 4 over 3, this is 3 over 4. If I wanted to calculate it, I'd be saying I'm going from 16 times what factor to get 12. Again, it has to be one triangle to the next, and it has to be corresponding sides. Divide both sides here, and we get a scale factor of 12 over 16, which simplifies to 3/4. But this is the second type of problem with parallel lines. Now, they're not marked parallel, but because I have these angles marked congruent, I can conclude that they are parallel because corresponding angles are congruent. That makes those lines parallel. That makes these similar triangles. I cannot set up my ratios the same way. Very important. Because when you look at this, 4 is a side of a small triangle. C minus 7 is not the side of a triangle at all. Whereas 11 and 2C are both sides of a triangle. So side of a triangle, side of a triangle, side of a triangle, not the side of a triangle. I cannot use it in a ratio on its own. This is a case where I actually have to draw my two triangles out separately. Here's my small triangle. I have 4 and I have 11. But my big triangle looks like this, has a side length down here of 2c, and the side length here, this entire side, is c minus 7 plus 4. Segment addition, which when I combine my like terms is c minus 3. That's this side length. Now I can set up my ratios because I can compare my corresponding sides. 4 corresponds to c minus 3, so I can set up 4 over c minus 3. 11 corresponds to 2c. 11 and 4 are in the same triangle, so 4 was my numerator, 11 is my numerator. Make sure you're consistent with which triangle is the numerator and which is the denominator. 2c is my denominator. Cross multiply here. 11 times c minus 3 equals 4 times 2c. I'm going to do the algebra quick on this one just because there's a little bit of a tricky part, but I distribute 11c minus 33 equals 8c. If I subtract 8c from both sides, I get 3c minus 33 equals 0. Don't just move your equal sign. So then if I add 33 to both sides here, I get plus 33. So let me move that up and explain that again here real quick. And show what I just did. I subtracted 8c from both sides to get this. It went away here. And this became positive 33 because at the same time, I added 33 to both sides to get rid of my 33. Now I divide and we get c equals 11.